Constitution over here behind me. Charlestown's on the other side of the water. East Boston on that end. South Boston down there. Anyway, it's like a 4 points, if you will, of Boston. And I think about this certain spot right here, this joint. When the flight parties got up, you refer to the flights from last episode, all those parties got crazy. We'd have to bring them down here, which was dynamite, okay by me. It was like an outdoor patio. You had the water out here, and we had music, we had little bonfires, and every once in a while the cops would come and we'd have to scoot out of here, but we had to go 2-3 hours. And I remember one specific time we got chased out, my boy Jamie had a broken leg. And he was like doing the half pipe. But I tell you, never seen a kid with a broken leg run so fucking fast. God bless him, I love him. You know, I remember when I was younger, spray paint was big. And I'd always see, and I was a Spider-Man fan, mind you, don't forget the comic book kid. And I'd always see spray painted every once in a while on a different wall. The Amazing. And it was this kid, Paul. He's like to climb shit. Climb up a 3-story building, grapple off a wall, things like that. That's where his nickname came in. And he was pretty fucking amazing, in that sense. Then you had a few women. You had like the Anna Guns of the world. The Susie Blacks, imagine if them point together, they make Elmer and Louise look like fucking Senzananda, you know what I'm saying? Then you got the basics, you got the Bulls, the Moskies, the Dave Hams, the Roy Slurs, and Roy was a great guy, ride his bike all day with the bandana back then. Thing about Roy, like to get a little fucked up, if you will, and the more fucked up he got, the more he couldn't talk, hence Roy Slur, great guy, God rest his soul. We got the Tony Rocky Horrors. You know the guy, Antoine Rocamato, but oh, wait a minute, that's from Pulp Fiction. I'm sorry, my bad. Let's go with my nickname back in the day, Lena, who was our umpire. You'll hear later on in the next episode. But because I stood out late at night, she called me Midnight. You got Ralph Delia. Never called him Ralph. Matter of fact, I don't think I knew his name was Ralph till I was like 15. Always called him Butchie. Where that came from, no idea. And his father was Hawk. Just think about it. All runs of the family nicknames. Then you got Bozo and Lefty. They were the handymen, the town handymen, if you will. You needed something painted, you called Bozo. You needed something plumbing done, like a drain unclogged, you called Lefty. And they were brothers in the North End. So then you get the two business owners. Now, coincidentally, their businesses were right next to each other. One was a hamburger joint. The other one was like a specialty sub shop and specialized in cold cut sandwiches. And we would go there. One guy's name was Jerry. One guy's name was Johnny. Now that I think about it, J and J, hey, it's all meant to be. So we would go in Jerry's and say, hey, Jerry, let me get a cold cut sandwich. And back then, you just wanted the basics as a kid, right? Just give me like a ham and cheese. And he'd ask you what you wanted on it. And you'd say, like, give me some mustard. And he said, oh, okay, you want mustard too? And you say, huh? And you say, oh, I want mustard. And he said, yeah, mustard too. And you say, what the fuck are you talking about? And he'd say, mustard too. And you say, oh, mustard too. All right, Jerry. From then on, he became Jerry Mustard too. He wasn't crazy about that nickname. Right next to him was a good man, Johnny Jeep, is what his nickname was. And how that came about, because he was so cheap. And we had a little rhyme. It was like Johnny Jeeper, no one's cheaper. Guy had like steak and cheese for 75 cents back then. You could buy a hamburger for 30 cents. Throw in a nickel, you can get a cheeseburger. One kid who could press his buttons the best, I'll never forget, Johnny Piazza. He'd come in and Johnny Jeep would be like, get that kid out of here, I don't want him fucking in my place. And Johnny would be like, please, Johnny, I'm hungry. All right, he'd let him eat a couple of burgers. Then Johnny would hit him with Johnny Jeep, but no one's cheap, and he'd chase him out with a fucking machete. Good old days in the North End, baby. All right, so I figured that I finished this episode a fitting ending, in my opinion. There was a man who grew up around here in the North End. There were a couple of handicapped kids, if you will, mentally. There was like the kid Jerry the Sea Hag. You would call him from like Popeye because he always wore a hoodie. But Jerry. One thing about Jerry, you broke his balls, he'd tell you go fuck your mother. I mean, Jerry, he went right for the jugular. So you know what I mean? Live and die with them words. So here we are at the end of the sequel to Nicknames, and I'd like to cap it off with one last nickname, and he was a lot more than a nickname. So his name was Anthony, and he went by many nicknames. I originally knew him as the Sheriff because he loved law enforcement. He always looked out for us younger kids, like, hey, look out, here comes a car, Anthony, get on the sidewalk. Or if you were doing something stupid, he'd say, hey, don't do that, I'll tell your mother. And he'd look out for you in that sense. And he always said, how are you? How you doing? Every time you saw him, no matter what. Anthony was the best. His name later grafted or molded into Anthony Wrinkles and Creases. because he got a little older. He still never really changed mentally, but he just appeared a little older. But for Anthony Wrinkles and Creases, the sheriff, you looked out for me. You looked out for a lot of young North End kids. This episode's for you, man. God rest your soul. Because of guys like you, I am where I am today. Till next time, everyone.